What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Dual Sense podcast. This is episode 49. I am the self-proclaimed Matthew McConaughey of PlayStation Podcasts. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason, and I'm joined, as always, by your other co-host, Travis. Travis, what's good?
Who am I the self-proclaimed person of?
I don't know. You've got to decide for yourself. You can be anybody you want to be in today's world, so you just have to pick.
Anybody I want to be.
Yeah.
You have to scene.
Just have it ready for the next the intro on the next episode.
All right, I'll think about it.
Well, what's going on tonight? Anything good?
Just laying in the floor thinking about, if we're all here, is free will a real thing? It's the usual Friday night.
Those tetrahedrons are really messing with you lately, these past couple of weeks.
I enjoy the theory that if you subscribe that everything was set in motion and objects in motion stay in motion, and we're made of atoms and protons and electrons that were set in motion and stay in motion, then technically every decision we make is already set in motion.
Interesting.
So that would mean everything's predestined.
That would mean no free will?
Correct.
Okay.
Not in the traditional sense, not in the religious sense.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, most people don't. But it's an interesting thought experiment that has nothing to do with PlayStation.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay. I don't know anything much better as well this evening, but I did finish Band of Brothers just a little bit ago.
Good job.
I finished all 10 episodes of that, and it's a very excellent show.
Did you cry at the end?
About World War II, and I did cry at the end. So I'm a little down. I'm gonna need you to pick me back up.
All right. I always cry at the end when the German officer's talking to them about how they're all brothers. Gets me every time.
Yeah, not only that part, but then at the very end when they're talking to the real people.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember which one it was. Maybe Garnier, and he was talking about how his grandkid asked him if he was a hero in the war, and he said, "No, I wasn't, but I served in a company full of heroes."
Oh,
and oh man,
then
I had to try and eat. Yeah, I'm over there just sobbing. My wife's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, these fucking boys went over there and died for this shit."
Yeah, she asked you if you're all right. You're like bad Santa at lunch. Leave me the fuck alone.
Them boys went over there and died for this shit. You know, God, got to me.
Well, now that everybody's turned it off.
Yeah. So anyway, Travis, for the uninitiated or the noobs, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together every week and we discuss or cover all of the week's news, rumors, new game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. We do it all in under 90 minutes, of course, per usual, including this week. Somehow we will do it, even though we have a ton of news for all of you boys and girls and lads and lasses and blokes and Sheilas out there, and we're going to do it. So you can check us out every Monday. We'll have a new episode for you on all the podcast services around the world, or you can find us on YouTube as well if you prefer to listen to your shows there. We also post game streams and clips on YouTube as well occasionally. Our page is called the Dual Sense Podcast, real original. And also, if you want to reach out to us and talk with us, you can find us on the Twitter. Our handle there is at the Dual Sense Pod, and we would love to hear from you, as we occasionally do. We've been hearing from listeners a little bit more here recently. I really like it. I enjoy it. So keep it up. Anyway, Travis, without further ado, talk to me about what you've been playing.
Well, I re-downloaded the F1. Anyway, I deleted all of my team stuff when the 5 came out, and I just, for some reason, decided I wanted to mess with that again. So I made another team and put the AI difficulty at 50, which is medium. I don't remember what I put it at the first time. I must have made it a lot harder last time because it's not as difficult as I remember. The first race I won by like 10 seconds, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, I need to make it harder. So I was thinking about upping it. And I thought, well, let's give it 2 races, get an actual, a data spread to look at here. And then the second race did not go like the first race. In the first race, I was the fastest person in every practice, I won the pole, I won the race, and then in race 2, I finished third. I couldn't keep up with the top 2 guys. I almost got passed for fourth like 3 times. Like, it was a struggle to maintain the podium. So I think I don't know what the difference was. I don't know if I told you what had happened though. Like, there was a random rain session in the middle of practice, and I still had 2 things left. I still had 2
Oh yeah.
2 programs to run. So I did my race program in the rain and my quali program in the rain, and then I had to turn around and do the qualifying in the race. So that might have been part of the problem. But regardless, it's still fun. If you win every race, you can blow the computer out. That's not any fun. So you want it to be a little bit of a challenge. So
Sure.
anyway, it's still fun. I enjoy it. The only thing I turned off that was different was I turned off the strictness of the staying on the track, the whatever you want to call it, the out of
Oh
bounds lines, because
yeah.
it's fucking impossible to race at certain tracks. Like, if you try to race at Circuit of the Americas on F1 with it on strict, just forget it. You can't drive fast on that track with the limits how they are on the game. You can't keep up with anybody. So
Hmm.
anyway, I put them on regular, so it still gives you a penalty. It still gives you warnings, but if you're barely across the line, it doesn't penalize you. So anyway, I'm not out here as Rob on PlayStation X that says, "Who's out here playing games on hard? Why are we doing that?" You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
playing a game to have fun. I'm not trying to like I'm not a tryhard, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to the F1 esports championship here. I don't have to fucking put it on 110 AI difficulty. Like, I can race on 60 or 50. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. You should play games to have fun, not get mad.
So anyway, threw in some FIFA to kill some
Okay.
time. I enjoy my team. Actually, I like this team out of the 3 builds I've done between Stevenage and Kilman Rock. I think Nancy's my favorite. No, it's not like I have a particular guy that I really like on the team per se. I just think it's a nice balance. I have a nice balance of guys with high potential and then like weird traits. Like, I have a random wing back who is like 6'5", and he probably will only be like a 72, but I just like that he's huge.
Sure.
I have some strikers that are interesting that are one has power header, which is cool. I've never had a
That
striker with
is.
power header from my youth academy. My youth academy keeper is American, but he's only 6 foot tall, so that's kind of fun because he's like tiny.
Yeah, that's different.
But he's probably the best keeper I've had. On the Kilman Rock one, I have a dude who's like an 87 or 88 right now. But even though this guy's only like a 64, he makes like his animations are really cool. I don't know if that's a random generation thing or if it's
Hmm.
maybe my back line isn't as good, or maybe because he's shorter, he gets like different angles. I'm not really sure, but anyway, I enjoy that team. They're fun. I don't beat guys by 7,000 or anything, but it's still
Yeah.
fun. But that's about it, man.
Cool.
Did you beat Days Gone this week or anything like that?
No, I wouldn't know anything about that. What's Days Gone? Or I wouldn't know anything about FIFA either because I am still without my PlayStation 5.
How many days gone has that been gone? That it worked out better in my head.
Very nice. Yeah, I am I'm about 2 weeks gone. I'm about 14 days gone now from having my PlayStation 5. So it arrived in Indiana at the support center on Monday at lunchtime. It was signed for. I could see the tracking who signed for it. But my repair case status never updated. And last night, I finally called PlayStation support and said, "Hey, my FedEx tracking that you guys gave me says this thing was delivered and signed for, but it's been 2 days and the repair status hasn't been updated. So I just wanted to make sure that everything's okay. Is that normal?" And the girl was like, "Oh, yes, it's fine. It's normal. It doesn't get updated until it gets assigned to a technician and yada, yada."
It's sitting in a box in the back of a truck.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, all right, well, if you say so. So then, funny enough, today I get an email this morning that says, "Oh, we've received your system, and it's
hmm
it's at the support center, yada yada yada, and please allow 7 to 10 business days." But then I have another email that says allow 10 to 15 business days. So I have no idea how long they're going to have this thing. So, like I was telling you earlier today, there is a slim chance that I'll have it by June the 8th for Chivalry, which I desperately want to play. There's a better chance that I'll have it by Ratchet and Clank on June the 11th, but there's not a 100% chance, which if I miss both of those launches, I'm going to be severely perturbed. But what can you do? You know, like Tony Soprano says, what are you going to do? And
It always
so,
it's always weird to me when you call and complain like that or ask a question and then magically the next day, it's always
yeah,
like, is it a coincidence or do they
it,
actually just finally work?
there's no way. There's too many. Like that's happened to me way too many times for that to be a coincidence. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what about
Yeah.
this? Where's my shit? Like, where and then magically there's an update. Like, you guys forgot about it. That's okay. Like S. Lewis in Indiana who signed for it. He signed it. The FedEx bro handed him the box, and then he sat it in the corner, like you said, and forgot about it. And whatever. So that doesn't make me mad. So anyway, with all that said, as far as what I've been playing, I'm still playing on the Vita this week. Played a little bit more Uncharted Golden Abyss. And then on Monday, you were making fun of me, but me and some of the lads on the Vita subreddit, it was Killzone Mercenary Monday game night. So I hopped on the Vita on Monday night, and played some Killzone Mercenary with the boys and girls on there on the Reddit, and that was fun. It
I'm
was
glad you found your people.
that was a ripper time, as they say down under.
Oh, is that a thing? By the way,
Yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
start next thing I know, you're gonna be playing like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Dungeons and Dragons and shit. You're gonna have like a whole Reddit thing. You're gonna have like models built in your basement.
Dude, I did play Yu-Gi-Oh cards growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Pokemon, and then the natural evolution was Yu-Gi-Oh. So watched the cartoon and everything. Great show, great card game. Anyway, so the Mercenary, Uncharted Golden Abyss, and I will say I debated whether to put this in here because it's not PlayStation related, but last night I did, just on a whim. I had like 15, 20 minutes. I grabbed the Nintendo Switch and I tried Knockout City, which is that Electronic Arts dodge brawl game. Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
this? And it was, it's whatever, free for the first 2 weeks and all that. So I downloaded it on there and checked it out. And I will say that there's something there. It was pretty fun. Like I didn't have any expectations. I was just checking it out, and there's something there. It was fun. It made me want to play more.
Like when we played Fall Guys the first time.
Yeah, it's like when you played Fall Guys the first time and you're like, what is this stupid looking game? And you play it and you're like, this is fucking hilarious. This is awesome. So it was fun. It felt good. I mean, I don't know that I would pay $20 for it, but it was fun. Anyway, that's it. That's all I've got. So with that, let's jump into the news here. And we have quite a bit, as you can see here, quite a bit. But a lot of exciting things as well. This is like a early E3 for us, you could say. So here we go. Number one, we finally received our first look at gameplay for the hotly anticipated Horizon Forbidden West via State of Play on Thursday, which already has over 2.5 million views on the YouTube. I think it's well over that even now. And for starters, the game looked gorgeous running on the PlayStation 5 for the video, although it is worth noting, Travis, that the frame rate did not appear to be 60 frames for the stream. It looked more like 30. And then after the presentation, the game's narrative director, Ben McCall, your boy, also penned a post for the PlayStation blog breaking down new features of the game, including the pool caster, which speeds up climbing, the shield wing, which is essentially a parachute or paraglider for Aloy, and the diving mask, which opens up underwater exploration, all of which we see in action during the state of play. McCall also added that the game will feature a big new collection of deadly machines, including some that we got to see, like the Sunwing, the Claw Strider, and the Tremor Tusk. We still do not have a release date for the game, however, although developer Guerrilla Games says that development is on track and we will have a release date very soon. What do you think? Did you check this state of play video out?
Yeah, I did. I watched The Lady with the Dreads, so it reminds me of it's like my first thought was I'm a female in Waterworld looking for Kevin Costner.
I could see that, yeah.
I didn't know, of course, I don't know any of the terminology like a claw strider and a tremor tusk. Like I
Yeah,
guess
those are
these
new.
are yeah, those are new. So obviously that's I wouldn't know them, would I?
Sure.
But that being said, I didn't even notice the frame issue. I don't even know how you can tell that.
Hmm.
The things I could tell are like when it's not HDR or whatever, or if it's not in 4K. Like I can tell that pretty easy, but the frames thing, I don't pick up on it as keenly as others seem to. So
Mm,
when I see people like really complain about it, like on Twitter, there were some people that were upset that it didn't seem to be 60 frames.
yeah.
I think you even interacted with a few of them, but
Hmm.
for me, it's like I can see the point. Like if I'm paying for like how we've talked about before, like if you don't have a 4K TV with the 5, like you're kind of missing out a little bit, right? So
Absolutely.
I can see how if you could feel like you're missing out by not getting the 60 frames. I could follow you there. I could follow that logic. But that being said, the game still looked awesome. I thought it looked great.
It did.
The water was crazy. I'm always fascinated by video game water to begin with, but
Yeah.
I thought the water looked really cool, and I thought they did a really good job of like like when water is more shallow, a lot of times it looks more clear.
Hmm.
How they did a really cool job with that. Whenever she was underwater swimming around and stuff like that, I had the same feeling I have in every video game when there's an underwater level, which was one, this level is going to be really hard, and two, I can't breathe. I don't like, as we discussed before, I don't like either of those things.
Sure.
So, but anyway, I thought it looked pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I like, I like all the little gadget things. Also, like at the beginning, those T-Rexes came out. It reminded me of Jurassic Park
Yeah.
when Chris Pine has them all in the, or Chris Pratt has them all in the, you know what I mean? All the
Yeah.
blues in front of him, reminded me
Oh
of that.
yeah.
So, anyway, I think it's an interesting. I just think it looks interesting. I mean, I can't put it any more simple than that.
Yeah. I think it looks incredible. I also believe that it will be the game of the year for
Hmm.
2021. There's nothing that has been announced right now. I don't think there's going to be anything that will be announced that will be able to compete with it. It just looks incredible graphically.
Hmm.
First of all,
Feels quality though too. I know we're not actually
yeah,
playing it, but it has a feeling already. Like it
yeah,
feels, it feels next genny.
it does. It looked and felt next gen, which is amazing considering that it's also coming to PS4. The frame rate issue does bother me, but I know that it's going to have a 60 frames per second like performance mode or whatever. And it may even run at 4K 60. It's actually kind of hard to imagine that it won't run at 4K 60 considering what already does run at 4K 60 on the 5. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know though. Maybe it'll be like 1440p and 60 frames or whatever. But I do notice now the difference between 60 and 30. Usually, if I play a game that's 30, it'll make my eyes hurt or give me a headache or something like that. But anyway, from what we've seen so far, the 14 or 15 minutes of gameplay that they showed in this, they really, in my opinion, made a huge leap from the first game to this game, from an environmental standpoint, from a graphical standpoint, they from a gameplay standpoint, they look like they've added
Hmm.
weapons, they've added combat maneuvers, they've added traversal mechanics,
Hmm.
all this stuff. They've added more monsters. It's a new
Right.
setting, so they've really raised the bar,
Hmm.
in my opinion, from the first game. And the cool thing to me was like watching this, even though I played it through and platinumed the first game. I believe I platinumed it if I remember correctly. Loved it. Loved the first game. Even though I played that, I still felt watching this like I was watching something brand new. Does that make sense? It was
Yeah.
like I was like, wow, this is really dope. And like it's just a really cool concept. Like it's not dinosaurs like you said, but it's robots that are clearly were designed and based off of dinosaurs. And I know you didn't play the first game, but and this won't spoil anything, I don't think, but it's set in, a post-apocalyptic America. And so there's kind of like this mystery to it and just the story threads that and like Easter eggs that you find when you're like walking through these cities that are clearly
Hmm.
like in this one they've already said that you're in San Francisco. Like that's so awesome. So anyway, I was amazed with it, and it's going to be the game of the year. I'll be shocked if it's not over 90 on Metacritic. And the only thing we need now is a release date, which
Hmm.
there was something earlier where there's a rumor now that it's
Oh, the
going to be
code.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
It's going. There's some type of code like when they show them that they pull up a map in this demo, and there's a number in there that says like 0910 or something like that, which is September the 10th, which ironically enough is a Friday, which Sony has been releasing their big games on Fridays, so it's very possible. Although that is the week before Deathloop, I believe, or maybe a few days before Deathloop, which I don't know if that's a great decision, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I think September, October is probably the range. It just depends on what they want to get out of the way of or get out ahead of. And September might be pretty good because when you get to October, you're going to have Battlefield most likely, and you're gonna have that Back for Blood game. You're gonna start running into a lot of stuff there. So anyway,
A couple other things I noticed. They had some really cool Uncharted like levelation where you're kind of going
hmm
up and down some verticality. That was really cool.
yeah, they've added some of that, and that was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah, I like that too because as she was climbing, I couldn't really tell where the game wanted me to go. Does that make sense? It was like I
right.
felt like the more I played, the more it would make sense. But as she's climbing, I'm like, Why are you climbing? They're following you, but it looks like you're climbing at them. So what are we doing?" And then another thing that I thought was really interesting, talking about the environment, was I can't remember a trailer where I felt like this. I don't know if this will make any sense or not, but like it felt like as I'm watching the trailer that there's a lot more details going on
Oh
at the
yeah.
bottom of my eyes.
hmm
Does that make sense? Like I'm
Yeah.
watching where I'm going, but it feels like there's like all this superfluous shit going on around me,
Yeah.
and my brain wants to like look at all these colors and flowers and details, and like
Yeah.
I've never really, I didn't even feel like that on Ghost of Tsushima either, even though that's kind
hmm
of known for all the leaves and the wind and stuff. I didn't feel like that on that, but for some reason in this trailer, I was like, Jesus, like it just seems like it's so dense.
That's exactly the word I was about to say. I know exactly what you're talking about. It seemed very dense and very lush, and I think that's awesome. And that's kind of what before we had PlayStation 5s, before the generation was here, that was how it was described to us, right? Like people
Hmm.
were these developers were saying that we're going to see more dense worlds, more detailed environments, and this and that, and that's we're starting to see that. We're starting to get to that. You know what I mean? So that's exciting. But anyway, we'll sit and wait patiently for a release date. I'm gonna guess we're gonna get that in June. Number two, Sony released their investor relations and corporate strategy presentation this week, Travis. And from that meeting, we learned a lot about the current state of PlayStation and quite a bit about the future as well. There's no real elegant way to do this. So I'm just going to run through a bunch of notes here and then we can talk about any that interest us at the end. So, for starters, Travis, PlayStation is the most profitable it has ever been, and Sony intends to capitalize even further by targeting a 50% market share for the PlayStation 5 this console generation. 41% of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 owners are female.
I'm a female.
Compared to just 18% on the PlayStation 1.
Or identify as females. Like we could draw the line there, can we?
Correct, yeah. Sony anticipates the PlayStation 5 Disc Edition to become profitable in the next month. 80% of Sony Interactive Entertainment's annual revenue is from software, services, and peripheral sales, while the other 20% is from console sales. The split used to be more like 50-50, like 50 to 48, basically, so that's pretty impressive. Free-to-play games are also a key part of PlayStation revenue, Travis, as they now account for 25% of total PlayStation Store revenue, meaning add-on content. PlayStation Plus now sits at 47.6 million subscribers, up from 5.8 million since fiscal year 2013, averaging out to about 500,000 new subscribers a month. PlayStation Now also currently has 3.2 million subscribers. Sony plans to bring more games to PC, including Uncharted 4, which was revealed to be coming to PC at some point in the future. In an effort to grow PlayStation Now, Sony also plans to increase the addition of quote unquote quality content to the service, as well as including more first party games on the service. They also have plans in motion to expand PlayStation IP to mobile. Mobile revenue, for reference, is more than double that of the entire console market, which is incredible. PlayStation also sees live service games as another key growth area, Travis, and noted that we can expect live service or possibly free to play games coming from first party studios for release on both PlayStation platforms and elsewhere. Remember that 25% of the store revenue was add on content, as I mentioned a minute ago, which accounted for just a cool $9 billion in revenue for Sony. Sony's artificial intelligence division is working in collaboration with PlayStation to create a more immersive experience featuring smarter teammates and enemies in games. Also worth noting is that we seemingly received confirmation that God of War Ragnarok will be exclusive to PlayStation 5 and not coming to the PlayStation 4 as well as we once feared, as it was not listed in the quote notable future releases end quote for PlayStation 4. And finally, to put a bow on everything, Travis, Sony revealed their new quote unquote beyond console approach where they intend to grow their services, games, app offerings, PlayStation Direct physical retail stores, and cloud gaming functionality. Okay, so there's a lot going on there, a lot that came out of this presentation, a lot that I'm sure maybe Sony didn't necessarily want to come out, although they've released it. I'm pretty confused about that. But what are your takeaways from any of this? Just start wherever you want to.
Well, just from a gaming perspective, Sony's artificial intelligence division, which makes it sound like they have a bunch of iRobots working diligently behind the
Right.
scenes.
Yeah.
These smarter teammates and enemies, that's something that we've always complained about. I mean, one of our favorite PlayStation 1 memories is playing Medal of Honor over and over again on the first level. And like we
Yeah.
we had it memorized and like, if we do this, the guard won't move. So we would like walk up and throw the grenade, bounce it off his helmet, and then it would explode. Worked every
Yes.
time. And it was fucking hilarious because of the clink noise it would make.
Yes.
So, on one hand, having a more intelligent enemy or teammates that could make for instance, like that could make a game like FIFA or 2K have some legs. Like you come down and the pick and roll always works, or the through ball always works when you have a wing back up. Like, well, the computer being able to learn your tendencies would make you have to learn to play a different way. So
Right.
that could be actually pretty cool. Like it would be more challenging, but it would be interesting to me to see how the computer responds. If you're playing a single player game like Battlefield or Call of Duty, you're playing like a story campaign in a shooter. Maybe you're the type of guy that likes to run in guns blazing. Well, the computer might, learn how to do traps or bait you into that. So I think that would be really, really cool. I think that'd be a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Definitely.
So that I think probably is out of all the numbers we heard in this list and all the things we heard in this list, that's probably one of the least looked at things. But to me, that's what I saw immediately and thought was really, really cool.
Yeah.
To jump off of that, I'm curious about the PlayStation IP to mobile. What does that look like?
Mm.
You know, I always thought the companion apps were cool. I know that's
Yeah.
not really the same, but I've always enjoyed the companion apps. The one for GT
Yeah.
Sports sucks ass, but I like the other ones. What does this look like? What is this in your brain? What is a IP on mobile look like?
Yeah. I had totally forgotten about the companion apps. I hadn't really considered that, but I think that's actually a really good idea to have companion apps for all, especially like the open world games or the sports games like Gran Turismo makes total sense. Competitive games, things like that. I think that's a great idea. It's hard to say. I mean, because phones and tablets and everything are so powerful now. So
Mhm.
it's hard to say if they're talking about like, hey, we've got God of War. We're going to develop a God of War like full blown mobile game, like
Mhm.
a 4 or 5 hour story based mobile game. You know what I mean? Like, is it
That'd be cool.
that?
Yeah.
Is it that, or is it like, hey, here's Temple Run but with Kratos? Like,
Yeah.
is that what we're talking about, or I don't know, or is it going to be one of these game like the Farmville or whatever, something like
Oh
that?
god.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I understand wanting to get in on the mobile revenue. Like I mentioned, it's twice
Right.
the
Right.
entire market of home consoles. I understand that. But yeah, I mean, I think you would agree, but that, mobile gaming, we're not the demographic for mobile gaming.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's just a generally younger demographic. I'm sure that it is, but it's not for me, which also makes me wonder, like, if it's for a younger demographic, which seems like a safe bet. Where do you draw the line? Can you have a God of War game where he's cleaving demons in half with his axe? Like, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. It's really hard
Right.
to say.
Like one thing I would want it to have, or like, and maybe I'm just stuck on this, but like if me and you are playing Ghost Recon and you're like, hey, I'm gonna pull the drone out, you can use
Oh,
your
that'd be
phone
dope.
as the drone.
That would be
Or
dope.
like in Call of Duty, they always pull something out to do the kill streak. Well, like I call in the
Yeah.
kill streak from my phone and I use that. You know, I don't know. I just thinking about things like that. It would be, or if like on Gran Turismo, like I was telling you earlier, how like you could change your brake balance and your this, that, and the other, and your fuel mix. Like that'd be so cool if I could just have my phone sit by my steering wheel and I could be like, oh, you know what? I need to go to lean mix. I'll
Right.
drop it down. Oh, I want to do harder tire compound. So I hit the H on my phone. Like that type of thing would be really cool. I know it's not. I feel like that's not what they're getting at, but
Right.
I really would like to have those things.
You might not be wrong though. I mean, I think that's a great idea, and you're right. I mean, we used to get those all the time,
Right.
and not just from Sony, but from other developers too, like 2K and the Red Dead app and whatnot. So
Mhm.
Battlefield had an app, Call of Duty.
Yeah, sometimes if it's even just a map on an open world game, that would be helpful as shit. Or like if my
Mhm.
satchel was on there, like that, like on Red Dead, that'd be so cool. I could just, oh, this is, sometimes I forget, like I have 18 things in my satchel and I'm trying to make
Mhm.
a soup or something, and I could like just look at my phone, I'm like, oh, I need sassafras or whatever. That would
Right.
be nice. One of the other things I wanted to talk about or point out, and this might be a bigger discussion. This might be
Mhm.
something we could talk about like at the end of one of the episodes. But 80% of the revenue is coming from services, software, and peripheral sales, but only 20% is consoles. Like as you said, that used to be 50-50. But
Mhm.
where does this fall in with these issues that we're seeing with loot boxes? And 2K is considered a gambling game now, right? Because of the way the card system works and the locker codes work. So like if people are trying to cut back on loot boxes and this, that, and the other, well, the money is there. It's 80% of their revenue. So to me, it seems like that will never go away.
I think it's important to note too that of that 80%, the loot boxes, the add-on content is within that.
Hmm.
So like I see the other note there is that 25% of the PlayStation Store revenue was add-on content. So
Right.
you take 100%. You got to think about it this, like if you take 100% of the PlayStation Store revenue, that's within the 80% of Sony Interactive Entertainment overall revenue. So
Right.
I don't know, like even if developers like have to scale it back some, if that's going to really hurt the bottom line that much, because I think most of Sony's money is made on selling on PlayStation Studio games, on selling the games themselves. And then I also think that they make, I mean, you saw that the growth from 2013 to now on the PlayStation Plus subscribers is, exponential. And I think that they're making so much money off of that now that,
Right.
they don't, even if add-on content dropped because California bans loot boxes or New York bans loot box, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I think I mean, of course, naturally it's a hit, but I don't know if it's enough to make a dent or
Right. Right.
or a drop in the bucket.
I think the bigger issue is getting rid of pay to win games. I think that's the bigger issue. That's
Yeah, definitely.
frustrating. It's different if people want to spend money on cosmetic shit. I don't care about that, but it's really annoying. Like if I bought Hood Outlaws and Legends and I'm trying to level up John, and then this guy dropped $600 to max
Mm,
out his John character on the first night, like that's bullshit. So
yeah.
those are the things I hate about it.
Well, along those lines, it sounds like we're going to get free to play games, or at least free to play live service games from the first party, from PlayStation
Hmm.
Studios. So that seems like a pretty foregone conclusion. And I mean, I guess when you think about it, from the first party, there really is no live service game from PlayStation.
Hmm.
There's no Division, there's no Destiny,
Avengers.
yeah, and there's no Avengers, there's no Destiny, there's no whatever the first one I said was, the Division. So they they want to get in on this. There's no Fortnite. Look at Fortnite. So that's I'm actually not turned off by that terribly. I think that actually is a really interesting idea
Mhm.
to think about, like, Sony Santa Monica doing some type of free to play game that's like really high end AAA. You know what
Right,
I'm
that might
saying?
be
Because
cool. Yeah.
that's it's the same appeal that the Division Heartland has to me. Like
Mhm.
the idea of a really high end AAA free to play game that, if I want to buy the battle pass or I want to buy the year pass or whatever, the year 2 pass, whatever, I can do that if I want to. Like that is really appealing to me. That's what's kind of catching me with Heartland. And that's what interests me about the possibility of first party PlayStation studios doing that as well. I don't know. I think there's something there. I don't know how close we are to one of those, but I guess time will tell. Maybe one's locked and loaded in the chamber for next year. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out this summer. But a couple of the other things that I feel like we need to talk about too. Well, first of all, PlayStation is financially extremely healthy. I mean, 80% of their revenue is from software and services. They don't have to rely on selling consoles
Mhm.
anymore to make all their money. Their subscribers to PlayStation Now or I'm sorry, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now are up exponentially. Their market share currently sits at 45%, and they
Oh,
want to
yeah.
get and they want to get to 50.
That's
So
crazy, by the way.
yeah, they're already at 45% market share. They want to get to 50. They want one out of every two home consoles to be a PlayStation, and then and then leave the rest for Nintendo and Microsoft. That's insane.
Mhm.
So they're incredibly healthy financially. The other big thing, the two big that and the other two big things that I really took away from all this, we've already talked about one, which is the free to play live service games coming from PlayStation first party, which, like I said, that really is intriguing to me. The other thing is that Uncharted 4 is going to be coming to PC, it sounds like. And it sounds like it may be the very next PlayStation game to come to PC
Mhm.
because they just released Days Gone, and it was the only other game listed on the slideshow alongside Uncharted 4. It was Days Gone and
Right.
Uncharted 4 that they said were upcoming notable releases. So it seems like that's pretty imminent to me. Maybe even
Mhm.
later this year, early next year. I don't know, but
I'm ready for the mods. I'm just right now. I
yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait for him to, like, fight the Kool-Aid Man in a temple. It's gonna be incredible.
Never even thought about that. But the interesting thing about this is that there's been this sort of discussion about, would Sony go this far? Like, would they put one of their like flagship franchises like Uncharted 4, The Last of Us on PC? Because you could make the argument that Uncharted was the most important franchise and maybe still is to PlayStation. Like
Right.
there may not be one bigger. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 37 million people have played this game on PlayStation
Mhm.
4. So, and then now they're going to turn around and put it on PC. I guess
What do they have to lose at this point, though? I mean,
they
37 million people
nothing.
play it on PlayStation. Like,
Yeah.
can you get any more? Can you do any more than
No.
that, really?
No, you've got everything that you can get out of it on the console. So you might as well put it on PC. But I think what the signal that this sends is that there's no IP that is safe from
Yeah.
not being put on the PC.
No sacred cows.
Not anymore. Now, granted, Uncharted came out in like what, 2016, I think. So they've had to wait 5 years. So if it's going to be 3, 4, 5 years before these things come to PC. I mean, at least that's how they're operating right now. But yeah, like you said, you might as well put it on PC, make some more money off of it. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that because that money just goes back to PlayStation and hopefully they're just going to turn around and reinvest that into making more games or, whatever,
Yeah.
hiring more people for a studio and
Paying those robots to work on that technology.
paying those robots to work on your AI teammates over there. So, anyway, I don't think there's anything else here other than thank God that God of War Ragnarok, it seems like it's going to be exclusive to PlayStation 5. Thank God for that. Hope that's true. We'll see. Number 3, the rumored PlayStation 5 exclusive Final Fantasy game that we reported on last week appears to be a game called Final Fantasy Origin. According to industry insider Imran Khan, Final Fantasy Origin is allegedly being worked on at Neo developer Team Ninja and will feature Soulsborne style gameplay and will be set in the world of the very first Final Fantasy title that released on the original NES way back in the day. Khan also claimed that publisher Square Enix plans to reveal the game at E3 and release an alpha demo this summer to gather fan feedback. So, any thoughts on Final Fantasy here? I know this is big news, but not necessarily for us.
I will say, I enjoy that they're kicking it back to the old school first world. I think that's pretty sweet.
Sure.
Anything that's a callback to NES, I usually am pretty excited about. Although I'm not that excited about Sonic.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. I mean, yeah, it's cool. That's all I'll have to say. Like, I know it's a big thing and it's
Yeah.
important. I think it's really crazy that it's a PlayStation exclusive. Like that blows my mind. Even if it's only 6 months or a year, it just seems like Final Fantasy is so big that they wouldn't let that happen. But cool. So,
Yeah.
good on them for that.
Yeah. Sony and Square Enix are in bed in a big way, especially with this Final Fantasy franchise.
Can we talk about the phrase "in bed"?
Sure.
I just, it's just so the image it puts in my head every single time.
Yeah, you just
I
thinking
because
about like a Final Fantasy character in bed with like Crash Bandicoot.
No, I pictured the Sony logo smoking a cigarette, and then the Square Enix logo just like bare-assed with the covers kind of pulled off. I don't know. It's always like that for me. It's always a literal, if like McDonald's is in bed with Burger King, I just picture Ronald and the King, and like Ronald's wearing the crown. King has
Mm.
makeup all over his face. Like that's what I go to.
And then
It's a lot
the
for me.
Square Enix logo looks at PlayStation and says, "It was great for me. Was it good for you?" And PlayStation says, "I've had better."
Yeah, the money's on the dresser.
Yeah.
Get your exclusive.
I don't have much to add. I mean, I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I understand that this is huge for PlayStation. That's not lost on me if this turns out to be true. And I also understand that this is a big deal and it's a change in the gameplay style. And,
Yeah, that's true.
it's a big change, big departure, a big risk. And I understand and appreciate all of that, but it is not for me. But nevertheless, we report the news for all you fucking nerds. Number 4, we finally received an update and saw gameplay of Dying Light 2 this week, as well as a breakdown from developer Techland on the PlayStation blog of the game's various systems and features. Dying Light 2, which is apparently called Dying Light 2 Stay Human, but I refuse to call it that, is set 20 years after the events of the first game, Travis, with players assuming the role of Aiden Caldwell, a wandering pilgrim who bounces between the city's settlements seeking the secrets of your past. New parkour moves and abilities have been added to the game, as have a grappling hook and a paraglider to help with traversal of the huge map. Techland also claims that the city is a living, breathing world that reacts to your every decision, which will alter the setting and characters. The majority of the game will also be fully playable in co op, as the last game was, and each player's world will be different depending upon who is hosting and the decisions that the host has made along the way. And finally, Techland announced that Dying Light 2 will launch on PS4 and PS5 on December the 7th.
Bet.
What say you? Bet?
What say me? 100%. It's not coming out on December 7th. I'll start there.
Absolutely. No fucking way.
But this is okay. First of all, Dying Light's a great co-op game. So I'm stoked for another fun co-op game.
Yeah.
I love the idea that if we're all playing together, I can't imagine how different John's world will be to ours. Like his will be whatever the darkest and dingiest is, like the saddest world. That's what his
Yes.
will be.
I think that's awesome. That's a great feature.
Yeah, I love environments that change based off your decisions, and this goes back to them to Sony working on the AI that can adapt. So I think this is in that same vein where you have an open world that's also a live world. I think that's really cool. But
Yeah.
I read an article a few weeks ago from Techland. I think it might have been a leak. I'm not 100% sure, but I told you about it then. But like how the guns are like you're so far into the future after
Mm.
this post-apocalyptic event that the guns are like just completely different. Like they're harder to find. They're a little like they look rough. They probably aren't as efficient, but they still work. But
Mhm.
I think the game really wants you to come up with like I think the game really wants you to have like this grappling combat, this hand to hand combat, which is always fun. So I
Yeah.
hope it I hope it doesn't lose. One of the best parts of Dying Light was the verticality of it. It was so it felt spontaneous.
Yeah.
So I hope all those things are still in the game. I mean, it looks like they are, but we've only seen a trailer. So
I thought you were going to say the drop kicking. I did not expect you to say
oh
the verticality.
yeah, the drop kicking is badass. I mean, that's like the
Yeah.
only thing that was worth. Yeah, you just run off of a cop car or whatever. The alarm's going off. Drop kick a dude.
Yes. Yes. I 100% agree that this game is not releasing on December the 7th. So I refuse to pre-order it because I think this game gets delayed and it comes out February at the earliest and probably next May at the latest. I don't foresee that at all.
You
Now they
can't
will
release it on Pearl Harbor Day, first of all.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just watched, some of those boys who died over there, but anyway, they I guess first of all, they did release Dying Light, the first one in January when it came out
Mm.
years ago. So, I mean, they did release that game in the winter time, so I guess it's possible, but it just doesn't seem likely.
Oh, I just don't
Especially
think they'll have it ready.
yeah, especially considering all the things that we've talked about on this podcast about how they've had like turnover and then they've had all this trouble with development. You know what I'm saying? We've talked
Hmm.
about that stuff on here, and I think they lost their narrative or creative director or something along the way. And I just don't know, man. I mean, the gameplay. So backing up a little bit, I guess, or with that said, the gameplay looked fun.
Hmm.
Everything that they showed was cool. The system about the world changing looks cool. All that it looked cool. I'm in. Given that it reviews okay. If it reviews okay, I'm in.
Hmm.
But I am concerned about it based on all the stuff that we've been hearing kind of trickle out
Right.
for months. So, but we'll see. We'll see if it hits that December 7th release date and kind of go from there. I also don't know why they added a sub heading or a subtitle to the game.
We don't need that.
Just call it Dying Light 2. Nobody's going to call it Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Just
Yeah,
not.
we know what it is.
Right. Exactly. Number 5, Ubisoft shared the first look at Far Cry 6 gameplay on Friday. The presentation introduced us to the game's main character, Danny Rojas, who players can play as either male or female. I know you're excited about that. We
I'm a
also got
female. Sorry, I'm
another
really into this.
female.
Just if you don't know what that's from, just type in "I'm a female." You'll see a African American lady getting arrested who looks a little androgynous, and she's blind. I'm legally blind. Just type in "I'm legally blind." Actually,
That's
that'll
it.
get you
Yeah.
the video.
Yeah, you got to type I'm legally blind. You'll find it on the YouTube. It's pretty funny. Oh, let's see here. We also got to see a lot of combat gameplay, Travis, featuring a variety of weapons, both traditional and improvised, like a Macarena vinyl record gun, for instance. It also appeared that animal companions are making a comeback as well, including an alligator. And the game will also feature customizable vehicles with a variety of attachments, like a snowplow, for instance, or a machine gun turret. And finally, we learned that the game will launch on PS4 and PS5 on October the 7th. What about this one?
Let's call a spade and say that we're in Cuba. That's
Okay.
what's happening here.
Is that where we're supposed to be?
I really think so, but part of the reason is it just looks like Cuba to me. But also,
Sure. Yeah.
there's revolution. This guy's an asshole. They're driving like 57 Chevrolets around. Like, I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much Cuba. First of all, I died laughing at the record gun.
Yes.
I
Hilarious.
really enjoyed that. It was great. Because what made it funny to me is it was playing music, which is completely unnecessary. Like they could just make it shoot the disc. It doesn't need to play the song.
Correct.
I love
Correct.
that. And as I told you after I watched the video, if somebody hurts my dog in a wheelchair, I'm burning the fucking town down.
That's correct.
Everybody's dying. I don't
Yes.
care.
The dog is awesome.
I'm just going to touch on this, and it might come off the wrong way, which is perfect for podcast. Is it cool that you can be male or female? Absolutely. Do I think that should be an option? Sure. But I felt like when I was watching the trailer, and I feel like with a lot of games that have come out recently, they really want you
To be
like they're
one or
just
the
really
other.
Yeah, they're just pushing I feel like they're pushing it so hard, like,
Yeah.
be a woman or be a whatever, or we gave them a androgynous name, or a unisex name, so you could be whatever you wanna be, like,
Yeah.
I feel like they're pushing that so hard, and, like, it's okay to have a character that knows what they are.
Correct.
That's perfectly okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just write the game and write the character and make the game that you want to make. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you could also pick between a male or a female, but the majority of people said that if you did that, the game that was written in a way, and the voice acting and the whatever was all done in a way that you could clearly tell that the game was written and designed for you to play as the female
Mhm.
character in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Then just make that game. That's
Yeah.
fine. If you want people to play as Cassandra, the female assassin, just make that game.
Yeah.
It's fine. If you want Danny Rojas to be a chick, or if you want Danny Rojas to be a guy, just make that. It's
Yeah, I don't
fine.
care.
It's fine. It's not a fucking it's not Fallout or Skyrim. Like, it's fine. You're
Yeah, it's
not
different, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
yeah, it's a narrative based action game. Just make the game.
Yeah, like,
Anyway, sorry.
if it's Skyrim or yeah, absolutely, you should be able to you can fuck with it because 'cause you're being like a warlock anyway. But, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, if I buy this game and I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna be the female," and then I start playing the game, and then it feels like the dialogue is, like, meant for a male, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be annoyed that I picked the female because it's not gonna line up. Like, it takes me out of the game.
Yeah.
Like, if you just came to me and said, "Hey, it's a woman, and that's the protagonist," I'm like, "Okay." Like,
Yeah.
I don't care, like, it's like you weren't gonna play The Last of Us because you were Elliot Page or whatever its name is. Like, is that the same game? What
Uh
was Elliot Page in?
that's that's the Beyond Two Souls game.
The fuck ever. Anyway, see,
The
I got so
the character's name in The Last of Us is Ellie. Maybe that's what you're thinking.
okay, well, it all blends together.
Yeah,
Anyway,
sure.
like, you can't tell if you're male or female. I don't know what fucking game you're on. Anyway, back to Far Cry. So, Far Cry is one of my favorite series. I love Far Cry.
Yeah, yeah,
We've talked about this before. I love everything about it. I love the glitches. I love the guns. In the past, I've not been very good at these custom guns, or whatever you want to call them, these
yeah,
improvised guns. I've never been good at them. I've never been able to craft them very well, like because it's like I'm playing the game and I pick up an AK and it's like I could go do all this shit to it, and it's like, or I could just shoot them with the AK. So like I would rather just kill them with the gun that I
yeah,
have as opposed to spending 4 hours crafting. So like, I'm not going to do that, but
sure.
as we saw on the trailer though, we have a guy that's his thing. Like he's
Hmm.
a technician or a craftsman or whatever you want to call him. So hopefully that will make that easier for dumb people like me who didn't take the time in the last game to build the gun shovel.
Ah, yes,
But dude, those backpacks are fucking wild.
they are the like mortar backpacks or whatever, dude. The game looks incredible. It
Mhm.
it looks like so much fun. I can't wait to co-op with you and John like we did with 5.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be a ton of fun. And I think the game, and Ubisoft confirmed earlier today as well, the game will play in 4K at 60 frames per second on PS5. So
Right.
it's gonna look great, and it looks fun as hell. And that's really all that matters at the end of the day, doesn't it? So I'm excited. I'm more excited for Far Cry than I am Dying Light.
Me too.
And I actually believe that Far Cry will hit the release date. So I have some faith in that. Number 6, industry sales analysts, the NPD Group, released their April data this week, and the top 10 bestsellers on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 were as follows. Number 1 was MLB The Show 21, which is also the number 1 overall bestseller, regardless of platform, and it clocks in already at the number 3 spot for the entire year. Number 2 on PlayStation was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. 3 was Returnal, which was number 8 on the overall list, regardless of platform. 4 was Outriders. 5 was Spider Man Miles Morales, which clocked in at number 12 on the overall list, and number 5 for the entire year. 6 was Near Replicant. 7 was Mortal Kombat 11. 8 was It Takes Two. 9 was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And number 10 for the month was Ghost of Tsushima. What do you think?
I think, well, I'll start with the easy one. I'm curious to see what Ghost of Tsushima looks like after the big sale it's on right now. I wonder what it'll look
Mm,
like next month. I wonder if that'll bump it up to 9
mm.
or wherever. Where's GTA? I mean, what's happening in the world?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good point.
So to jump off of what we talked about last month about Returnal, there it is at 3. So that's awesome. That's what we wanted. I think it's safe to say it's a hit,
Yeah.
at least financially,
Yeah. It's where I should have noted as well. Returnal was only on the market for 1 day in April.
and it's
Okay.
number 3, which is
April
awesome.
April the 30th. So I think that's pretty good for an exclusive game. Comes in number 3 behind Call of Duty, one of the best games, one of the biggest games every year, and then MLB The Show,
Yeah. Why
which
is
was
that
the
so?
number 1 overall.
I don't get it. I don't understand why that's so popular. I mean, I guess it's the only baseball game, but baseball is just fucking boring. I'd rather play
Yeah.
scary games with the lights off than play the show.
Yeah, I don't think that I included this in the all of that investor relations stuff earlier that we talked about, but MLB Sony said that MLB The Show 21 has the highest average user spend rate out of every sports game on the
Wow.
console. Yeah, more than 2K, more than FIFA, more than
That's
Madden.
that's fucking crazy because people love to spend money on 2K and Madden.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like FIFA is probably a little more well, it's more worldwide. I guess that might be why those numbers are so high. But I feel like the
Sure.
FIFA users are a little bit more like regulated.
Mhm.
These 2K dudes, I mean, you know how they are. These streamers are like buying these packs and they're spending
Fuck yeah.
God knows what. Like anyway, I just MLB The Show just blows my mind. Like I
Yeah.
don't understand how it's already number 3 for the year,
It's
and
huge.
people talk so much shit about Black Ops
Mhm.
online, and it's number 2. I mean, like, people
Yeah.
make those memes, like, if you play what it's like to play c Black Ops and the guy just, like, shoots himself in the head or whatever, like, 'cause it's slowly turning into what, Rainbow Six is like, where these dudes know they can
Yeah.
shoot through walls or whatever, and they can it's
Mhm.
almost impossible.
Right. The only other thing I really have to say is, I'm happy for Returnal, for Housemark, that it seems like they have both a critical and a commercial success on their hands. We'll see where it comes in on the May chart to really have a better idea of its financial success. And then, yeah, like you said, MLB The Show. I mean, that's always a
Mhm.
killer app for Sony. I think they sell like between 15 and 20 million copies of that game every year. So that's, it's pretty nuts. But anyway, nice little month.
Shout out to Outriders.
I'm still waiting for $30 on that one.
Just hanging in there tough,
30 or less.
like my women.
Oh, don't tell my wife. Number 7, Travis. PlayStation announced the June PlayStation Plus lineup of games this week, featuring the now standard 1 PlayStation 5 and 2 PlayStation 4 titles. Subscribers can enjoy co-op spy game Operation Tango on the PlayStation 5 this month, while PlayStation 4 users receive space combat game Star Wars Squadrons, which is dog shit, by the way, and the recently announced Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, a remastered version of the original PlayStation 3 game from 2012. Virtua Fighter will be available for 2 months on the service rather than the standard 1 month, and it will also come to PlayStation Now on June the 1st as well. What do you think about the lineup?
The only thing I'm interested in is Operation Tango. I mean, it's worth a shot. It's free. Why not try it? It's co-op. It does like the art design it does look pretty cool. So at least it'll be interesting to look at if it sucks otherwise.
Yeah, I figured we would check that out.
Yeah, I guess we'll play it in August when you get your PlayStation.
Yeah, no shit. We'll check it out maybe about before the July PlayStation Plus games go live, and I'm excited. I'm excited to check out Operation Tango. It looks kind of cool. I've seen a trailer for it, but the other two, those aren't for me. I've played Star Wars Squadrons. It's not fun to me. And then Virtua Fighter 5. I know that's a pretty big deal to people, but I've never been in a Virtua Fighter. I was growing up, I always played Tekken. So that
Hmm.
was my fighting game growing up, not Virtua Fighter. But anyway, it's not a bad month. We're still getting the cool thing is that we're getting new releases
Right.
on on Plus, which is, kind of been the thing for Game Pass for all this time. So Operation Tango is a new release, Virtua Fighter 5 is a new release, so that's pretty cool.
We're getting the new Tekken with Liam Neeson.
I feel like I don't know when the last time they made a Tekken game was, but
I don't either. It's Tekken 6 or 7. Is that the last one?
Probably Tekken 7. Yeah, I think that's real. Maybe Tekken 6. You know what? I got sidetracked there for a second because I'm sitting here wondering.
You're talking about another movie director?
No, maybe. No, I'm thinking about what the July PlayStation 5 game is going to be. I'm wondering here because we're on this trend of having these indie games that get announced in just say a month, or they'll say June the 1st or whatever, and they end up being PlayStation Plus games for the month. So like Bug Snacks, like Operation Tango, like Destruction All Stars, and I think there's been another one since then. But I'm wondering if that Little Devil Inside game, which has only been given a July release date, I'm wondering if that is going to be a July PlayStation Plus game. That would be awesome, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. Number 8, Travis, we also have a bunch of news nuggets as well here to get through. Feel free to join me, as always, wherever you see fit. First nugget, the one that I pulled a little sneaky on you with here, that you don't have in your notes, but I have in mine, you fucker. Koch Media announced a gaming event for June the 11th as a part of Summer Game Fest. Koch operates publisher Deep Silver, who own IP such as Saints Row, Homefront, Dead Island 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance, and Time Splitters. Travis, that's interesting. Wonder what may come of that. I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's going to be a Saints Row game because they just put out a remastered version of Saints Row 3 on PlayStation 5, so that seems like they're trying to set that up a little bit maybe. Sony Pictures released a new image from the upcoming Uncharted movie this week featuring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. Did you see this, and what did you think about it? This is pretty controversial.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the lone survivor with Spider-Man in a cave. We were both out on Marky Mark as Sully when they announced it. I was hopeful that they would dye his hair gray or give him a mustache or something. But then it's Marky Mark, so that's not going to happen. He wants you to see how hot he is.
Yeah.
I had issues with Tom Holland too because Nathan Drake is he's a man's man. Like if they made this movie in the 90s or 80s, like he would be played by Arnold or somebody with muscles, somebody interesting, So Sully's character in the game is a rugged guy that, like a Tommy Lee Jones type of guy I feel like would be a good Sully. Like you said, Josh Brolin would be perfect.
Hell, J.K. Simmons, the guy who is in Spider-Man, like he's got the big mustache.
All of those things, those would be great. I think, it's not that I don't think those guys are good actors. I think Tom Holland will do a great job. Like I asked you, if we hadn't played the games, what would our opinions be about these characters? Yeah. We probably would be like, oh, cool, it's Spider-Man and Marky Mark, awesome. They're doing this Uncharted thing. That sounds cool. It's a treasure thing, right? It would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So
that's a fair point, by the way.
I'm trying to look at it from that perspective. I'm still going to watch the movie.
Sure.
It's just I want to see what direction they take the movie because. Mark has played so many different characters. He could go either way. Like, he could be a guy like he is in Ted, or he could be like a guy he is in what is it, Four Brothers, where he just beats the shit out of that guy. So
yeah,
and Tom Holland, all of his characters seem to have a little bit of comedy in them, which makes sense because Nathan Drake is inherently funny. The writing is so.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can see why they cast him. I think his skill set matches up. I just don't know if his body is kind of there. Which I guess isn't that big of a deal, but I don't know. I'm going to be there for it. I'm just, it didn't get my dick hard.
Yeah, I'm here. I hear you. I'm with you. We'll see how it comes out. Also, Tomb Raider developer Crystal Dynamics has opened a new studio in Austin, Texas called Crystal Southwest.
Called Cyrestal?
Yes, called Cyrestal Southwest. The new team will support all current and future Crystal Dynamic projects, not Cyrestal that time. Website PushSquare reported that Returnal developer Housemarque wants to develop games even larger in scale than Returnal and to rid itself of the idea that they're simply the Resogun studio.
Oh,
The
God
studio
forbid.
the studio also confirmed that they are already at work on their next project. It's interesting.
God forbid you're known for something. I hate that so
Yeah.
much. It's like when Coke tried to make new Coke. Just fucking you made Coke, guys. Like
Yeah.
it's okay to be successful and just be good at something. Like guys,
Sure.
Rezo Guns, everything Housemarque makes, people enjoy it. That's a formula that works. Like it's okay. Like again, like Polyphony, we don't need to go make non-racing games, guys. We don't it's okay, to have found your niche. It's fine.
Yeah. I agree. And it sounds like we're not going to get smaller games from Housemarque ever again. So get ready for that. Roblox CEO Dave Bazooka hinted that the creation style game may be coming to PlayStation platforms in the future.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Children everywhere are rejoicing. I know Jacob's kids love that.
I thought you sent us that because he played it.
No, his kids play that. Star Ocean series developer Tri-Ace appears to be hiring for a new PlayStation 5 action RPG.
Her Trace is the best. They're fast as a speeding train.
They say, Tri-Ace, you are best. Post-apocalyptic Japanese RPG Metal Max Xeno will get a next-gen upgrade sometime in 2022 that will improve the game's visuals, battle system, and skill system. The Microsoft Store leaked the Dying Light Platinum Edition, which they later confirmed this week, and it includes every piece of DLC released so far, which already exists, I believe, which so perhaps this is a next-gen upgrade. I don't think it is.
Two
I
things I want to
literally
point
think this. Yeah, I literally think this is like the third or fourth time that they've
Right.
released all the DLC in one package. They just
Right,
keep
they have.
renaming it.
Well, first of all, this is the game that's coming out on December 7th, and second of all, when games are released from Microsoft, it always comes from the store. But with PlayStation, we get them from Bahrain, a guy on a boat in the middle of the Indian Ocean. We get them from all kinds of places. It's great. So
That's correct. It's always Bahrain and Korea, baby. Also, Travis, the Little Big Planet servers are back offline after a recent attack where hackers posted derogatory messages in game.
what a game to hack for that.
Correct. Could have picked any other game that people will actually still play. PC games have begun utilizing the features of the DualSense controller, including Metro Exodus, which, after a recent update, now features both haptic feedback and adaptive trigger support. It's
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
As a reminder, free Returnal DLC is now available for Sackboy Big Adventure. Arcane Studios' Dishonored 2 will be leaving PlayStation Now on June the 1st, seemingly out of the blue, perhaps hinting that other Bethesda titles may be leaving as well after they've been acquired by Microsoft. We'll have to see on that. Maybe they're pulling a sneaky on us. Also, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown was announced this week and is remaster of the 2012 PS3 game, as we mentioned earlier. It's coming to PS Now on the 1st. Here we go. Pigeon Dating Simulator Hatful Boyfriend is being delisted from the PlayStation Store at the end of May due to publishing agreements coming to an end.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
So get it now while you still can, ladies and gentlemen. And I looked this game up. Push Square, okay, very reputable website, gave it a 7 out of 10, and they enjoyed it.
Guys, somebody needs to play this and just let us know, like, is there a mating dance? How do you tell the females apart? Do all the males look the same? Do you guys go on dates where you like eat garbage? Like,
dude, it's even better than that. So you play a human female who is attempting to find a male pigeon that she can date.
Oh, it's like the Bee Movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Even better. It's only $9.99. Maybe I should do it out of morbid curiosity.
Is it easy platinum? I'd love to have that on my list.
Yes, I don't know. Also, the IGN Expo will return this year on June the 11th, featuring new game reveals and never-before-seen gameplay.
You know what's cool? I have a lot of never-before-seen gameplay on my hard drive of clips I've saved. If they need some extra,
Right?
I got a lot of random shit.
It better be never-before-seen. I mean, what else would it be? Oh
Right.
yeah, we've seen this. We've seen this before. Here it is again. Sonic Mania, Sonic Forces, and Team Sonic Racing will all be coming to PlayStation Now on June the 1st. In a leak on Reddit, it also appears that The Witcher 3 and Car Mechanic Simulator will be added to the service on June the 1st as well. So it sounds
These
like that's
games.
your June PlayStation Now lineup.
Right. Car Mechanic Simulator. Wow.
Yeah, excited for that one. Borderlands 3 is getting cross-play for all platforms except PlayStation, as publisher 2K Games required developer Gearbox to remove it for unknown reasons related to certification. Another Fast and Furious game, Fast and Furious Spy Racers, Rise of Shifter, will release on PS4 and PS5 this November, from my friend Peppa Pig developer at Outright Games.
Perfect.
Every bit of that I just read was a disaster.
It all makes sense though, as a whole. But none of that's surprising to me.
It's every bit of that spells disaster.
I read in my sim racing Reddit, this guy put up a post. He was like, the Fast and the Furious series is just like when a toddler tells you a story and they keep saying, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. It's exactly what it is.
Dude, that is what, yes, that's perfect. Oh, it's perfect. Jesus. Also, Travis, this is a good one. Soviet sci-fi action game Atomic Heart will make Jesus.
It will make Jesus, huh?
Dude, I have so much more fun with this now that I don't edit this or read it for typos.
That's a good one.
Soviet sci-fi action game Atomic Heart will have a new trailer debuting at E3, according to developer Munfish.
Oh, this is debuting. I read debudding. It's like, what is that word?
Oh, I have a master's degree. Who also said that, quote, the game is ready, end quote.
Great quote, guys.
And that they are currently working on the PS4 and PS5 ports. So I actually am very interested in this game. It looks pretty
cool.
It looks really cool. I obviously had a typo in there that made me sound like I was in a Soviet sci-fi action game, and then
we will have a new trailer.
We will have a new trailer. I'm in a Borat movie now.
The game is ready. That's such a fucking Russian answer.
God, I know,
right? The game is ready. Okay.
Game ready now. Okay.
What the problem is they've been atheists for so long they don't have any souls.
They're just dead inside. They're just little robots behind the ears. Okay. Also, the demo for upcoming action RPG Scarlet Nexus is available now on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And finally, website Push Square reported that Merle Dandridge, who played the role of Marlene in the original The Last of Us game, will reprise her role for the HBO adaptation of the game.
That's
pretty
cool.
neat. Yeah,
I wish we could get the guy who does Nathan Drake's voice to just be somewhere in the movie, even if he's just like in the background waving. I would just like him to be in the movie.
That would be cool. Maybe there will be an Easter egg. Maybe they'll do that for us. Probably not. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Ubisoft's Watch Dogs started out as a Driver franchise sequel. Travis, here we go. And was being co-developed alongside Driver San Francisco at Ubisoft Montreal. And then it turned into Watch Dogs.
That's a really cool nugget. That's probably one of my favorites. That's pretty cool.
That is. It makes sense because the game took place in San Francisco. So, well, no, that was the second one. The first one took place in Chicago. Either way,
but yeah, it's fine.
According to a new Reset Era rumor, Ubisoft Singapore's open-world pirate game, Skull and Bones, has restarted development from scratch for a second time, which is definitely not a good sign for the game or the studio, who has never made a game.
Right, they got that flag upside down. They're under siege.
They're under siege.
You think they're having problem getting rights to these sea shanties?
Yeah, from Blackbeard and shit. Charles, what was that guy's name? Craven.
Charles Craven.
I don't know. There's another famous pirate, Charles something. Anyway,
Blackbeard.
No,
Ricky Craven.
Ricky Craven. It's a NASCAR driver, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 180. I'm gonna turn to the left. Developer Blizzard Entertainment has seen a wave of high-profile departures, including Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan, due in part to the studio's mismanagement of game releases, resulting in a lower profit share for its employees. It's interesting. Battle Royale game PUBG will get a remastered map along with 2 new maps sometime this year, in addition to new weapons and a vehicle. Developer Invader Studios and Leonardo Interactive announced survival horror game Daymare 1994 Sandcastle, a prequel to Daymare 1998 for the PlayStation 5. Walmart has allowed sellers on its marketplace website to mark up and sell PS5 consoles. The disc version is going for over $1,000 and the digital edition for $900.
America.
Fuck yeah. Dead by Daylight will get Resident Evil DLC on June the 15th, which will add Leon and Jill as survivors. Nemesis is a new killer and a new map based on the Raccoon City Police Department.
All of that is a ridiculous sentence if you just aren't, you know what I mean? Like, you just dropped a guy here from like 1840, but the Raccoon City Police really takes it over the top. Like those 4 words, it's just a lot.
It's a big town, big zombie town. Mm-hmm. Also, Travis, Resident Evil Village has already shipped 4 million units globally. CD Projekt Red announced that Adam Badowski has stepped down as game director on Cyberpunk 2077. He will be replaced by Gabriel Amatangelo. Sure. Who has been with the studio since January of 2020 as creative director, and he previously worked at BioWare as a design director.
I just realized the whole Easter egg in the title of Cyberpunk 2077.
What's that?
That's when it'll be done.
They told us well in advance.
We're just too stupid.
That's right. A Sonic Colors remaster will be coming to PlayStation 4 sometime in September. Website PlayStation Universe reported that a Sony spokesperson confirmed to the New York Times that there is no movie or film adaptation currently in the works for God of War. A pair of Brazilian retailers leaked the release date for the PS5. There you go. PS5 version of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The game will launch on June 26th and will come with a free upgrade for PS4 owners. Like you said, Brazil, Bahrain, Beirut. The Elder Scrolls Online Console Enhanced Edition on PlayStation 5 has been delayed by 1 week and will now launch on June 15th. PS5 exclusive looter slasher Godfall is poised to come to PS4 in the near future after another Hello Peggy rating, this time for the game's expansion called Fire and Darkness. Lists the platforms as PS5, PC, and PS4. For reference, Peggy has previously listed a rating for the base game on PS4 as well. BioShock 4 is being developed on Unreal Engine 5, according to a recent job listing at developer Cloud Chamber. Genshin Impact will receive update 1.6 on June 9th, featuring the Midsummer Island Adventure. A recent financial presentation seemed to reveal that a sequel to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is in development at 505 Games. Open world survival simulator Green Hell will launch on PS4 on June the 9th.
Green Hell is also the nickname for the Nordschleife
racing
circuit. the Nordschleife. It's in Germany.
Jesus Christ.
They call it the Green Hell because you can't really pass on it. It's super fucking long. There's like 74 turns and there's trees everywhere. They call it the Green Hell. But anyway, that's the real Green Hell if you're wondering.
Huh.
Maybe they'll sue each other.
The more you know. Also, GamesBeat reporter Jeff Grubb claimed on his most recent YouTube show that Square Enix is working on a Guardians of the Galaxy video game. Website Gamatsu reported that developer Kadokawa Games announced Relayer, a new age space opera strategy RPG for PS4 and PS5 from the God Wars series development team.
Like they sing like a space opera?
No, I think they mean like drama, like Mass Effect type of deal.
Oh.
Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, the official video game, will launch on PS4 on June 22nd.
Of 2021?
Of 2021, yes. Couldn't have the Tokyo games in 2020, so you can't release the video game either, Travis.
Oh, yeah.
3D platform adventure game, The Smurfs Mission Villeaf. I don't know how you say that.
It's supposed to be Village and you spelled it wrong?
No, it's really Phil Leaf. Will release on PS4 on October 25th. Retro-inspired 2D action platformer Berserk Boy will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime in the fourth quarter of 2022. Sounds like a rapper name, Berserk
Yeah.
Boy.
Or like your drunk alter ego.
Uh-huh. Turn-based tactical RPG Reverie Knights Tactics will release on PS4 sometime later this year. The game looks really cool. Kind of looks like Banner Saga. Platformer Marsupilami Hoob Adventure. Marsupilami Hoob Adventure will launch on PS4 on November 16th.
The fuck
Can't
is that
wait.
about? Is it a marsupial or is it like a Mars with you have
It,
soup on Mars?
it's about a marsupial who's a stick of salami.
Mm.
They have a hood adventure. Urban fantasy themed beat 'em up game Mayhem Brawler. How original. Will release on PS4 on August 18th. Management game Spiritfarer will get a physical edition on PS4 on July 27th. Adventure puzzle game Out of Line will release on PS4 sometime later this year. Virtual reality magic action RPG Ruins Magus was announced and will launch sometime this winter. Co-op postal puzzle game Kiwi or Kiwi, I don't know, will launch on PS4 and PS5 on August 31st. Stealth co-op ninja game Origami 2 will release on PS4 and PS5 on September 17th.
Gotta catch the origami killer.
That's right. Sega announced a new Sonic the Hedgehog game for Sonic Team that will release sometime in 2022 on PS4 and PS5. Deck building roguelite game Griftlands will come to PS4 on June 4th. Painting adventure game Chicory, A Colorful Tale will launch on PS4 and PS5 on June 10th. And finally, Gamatsu reported that publisher Square Enix announced a slew of Dragon Quest games, including Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate, which is being developed on Unreal Engine 5, Dragon Quest Treasures, and Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. And that is all for the news this week. I'm going to turn it over to Travis now for our new games.
On the 25th, we have Biomutant on PS4. You can watch Conan O'Brien play it on the YouTube with a comedian whose name I just forgot, but he's really funny. Anyway, following that, we have Capcom Arcade Stadium, Final Fantasy 14 online, King of Seas, which I was excited about, and then I watched it, and I'm not excited about anymore.
Oh, it doesn't look good?
I don't know. It's just I just want the other game that keeps getting restarted, and it's not it. I already forgot what it's called now. Pirates of the Caribbean. Saints Row the Third remastered on PS5. On the 26th, we have Gadgeteer, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid Super Edition. On the 27th, we have Boxed In, Earth Defense Force, World Brothers, Horse Club Adventures If You Want to Die, Super Bomberman R Online.
Uh-huh.
On the 28th, we have Beautiful Desolation, Gold Rush the game. Is this like the TV show? Like, God
yes,
bless.
it's a Discovery Channel TV show that they have made a game about.
Right.
Correct.
Wonderful. Good.
Uh-huh.
Song of Horror, Wonder Boy, Asha, and Monsterland to end the game list.
That's all for the new games. Nothing really stands out there. Biomutant, which has not gotten very good reviews, so be careful on that one. And with that, Travis, let's start to wrap the show up here. This is a long one. This is the longest we've gone in a long time, but there's quite a bit of news. But let's start to put a bow on this bitch. Talk to me about what you're going to be playing in the week ahead.
We have our second race in our league on Sunday. I think we raced last week. I think I came in 5th or 6th. I don't remember exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, we have our second race this weekend. I think 5th or 6th is about my limit in that league. I don't practice enough to be good at it, so that's fine though. It's just fun to race with the guys.
Yeah.
I'll probably do another couple of F1 races. I have all my setups for the tracks. I copied them off the internet. They have a bunch on Steam, which is nice if you're interested in looking that up.
Cool.
Probably throw in some FIFA or maybe some Hit. Actually, I might play some Hitman this weekend. I might do
Did you
one of
not
the
finish it?
contracts. No, I did, but the other
Oh.
game, whatever collection I have, they're not all on there for some reason,
Oh,
even though
yeah, yeah.
I haven't played them, so I might play them. And I've considered plugging in my PS4
Okay.
and downloading Hitman, so all the trophies will pop again. So
Okay.
if you're wondering if you've platinumed Hitman and you want to get another platinum, plug in your PS4, download the game, go to the home screen, and then it will just start feeding you all of the trophies over again. So that's some sort of
Really?
glitch they have, but I've been
Huh.
considering it. I've been considering it. It's cheating, but yeah, I've been considering it.
Interesting. Had not heard that. Okay. Is that it? Is that all you, it's on your mind?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna continue to die inside.
Hmm.
And my wife asked me tonight what the status of my PlayStation 5 was. She's tickled to death that I don't have my PlayStation 5 because I have to talk to her more and look at her more and you know
All of the
really
awful things.
really awful stuff that you have to do as a husband. And so I'm dying inside that I haven't been able
Hmm.
to play games for a couple of weeks now. I had everything planned out. I was going to be done with Days Gone by this point. I was going to play a little Homefront: The Revolution, just check that out, in my leisure. Hopefully, it was going to have been done with Returnal maybe before Chivalry and Ratchet came out. And now here I am. I'm just can't do any of that shit. And doesn't sound like I'm going to be doing any of that shit for a couple more weeks. So
Would you say your light is dying?
my glimmer is going out. My light is dimming. But with that said, I'm going to play more Vita this week. I'll probably play some Uncharted, per usual. And if they do another Killzone Mercenary game night,
Why
in
not?
the Vita Reddit, I may jump on in. That's a pretty fun game on there. Very, very, very good game on the Vita.
Can you buy the show since everybody else has it?
No, I'm not going to buy the show. I do own the show on Vita. One of them, I think I own 13 on the Vita. I own a FIFA
Yeah.
game, a Madden game, and MLB the Show.
I used to play the last show game I played was on the PSP.
Oh wow, yeah, I forgot they didn't make one on there. So, the FIFA, I haven't played the show or Madden on there, but the FIFA game isn't really not bad. You shoot, it's really cool. I forgot to tell you this. I should have talked about this a long time ago. But when you play FIFA on Vita, you shoot by touching the back touchpad. So the back touchpad is the goal, if you can picture this in your head,
Mhm.
and you touch on the pad where you want to aim the shot in the goal. And the
Oh,
longer
okay.
you hold, the more power it has. So if I want to shoot top right corner, I put my finger on the top right corner of the back touchpad while I'm playing, and it takes the shot. It's really cool, really neat concept.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so Uncharted, Killzone, and then may mix in some more Darkest Dungeon as well. We'll see. But that's about it. So with that, we'll get out of here. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. We know it was a long one, but still under 90 minutes as always. Never fail you there. And it's really coming together and shaping up. We're getting a lot of news here as we sneak into E3 season, and it's really already begun. Let's be honest. So hope you guys enjoy the show. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. You can also find us on YouTube if you want to subscribe there and watch episodes there, or check out some of our game streams or clips. And finally, if you want to chat with us, reach out to us, engage with us, find us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. You guys take care. We'll talk at you next week. Bye bye.